What up, and welcome to Creeps of the Crypt, a Tales from the Crypt podcast. If you were expecting this to be an actual episode, I'm sorry. You can find those on YouTube, though, and you can also buy it online, the DVDs. But this is just a podcast where we discuss episodes of Tales from the Crypt, a show that's over 30 years old. 35 years, I think, exactly. It's 35 years old this year, as of this recording. I'm your host, John, and along with me is my co-host.
Another Alan. Glad to be back, guys. Yeah, no full episodes today, so I think we're at that point now where people aren't as surprised anymore. Early on when we were starting, it's all the comments we would get complaining about how this wasn't the actual podcast or the actual episode of the show.
Yeah, people were pretty upset about that every single time. They were like, oh, thumbs down. I thought it was the video. So I was like, well, it says podcast in the smallest possible font imaginable. And I was like, it's in the title too. It says, but it's okay. Yeah. It's all right. We do one. We just pushed along. And we're just doing it because we like talking about it and we wanted to do this and I thought it would be fun. So that's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. I don't think we've really spoken that much in a while. So how you been?
Pretty good. Just keeping busy, and I told you I was watching Tulsa King over the weekend, so I've been getting into that. I think the new season's coming out pretty soon with Stallone. Plays like a mob boss that's been ostracized from his gang after getting out of prison for 25 years or so. So he never ratted on him. So he's in like a nowhere Tulsa, Oklahoma, trying to regather his criminal empire, pretty much, kind of start from the bottom.
Yeah, it's interesting because Stallone, I think he tried to do a gangster thing in the past, but not really. I mean, we all know Copland, where it was kind of like, it was like corrupt cops that had this little place was it New Jersey? Or yeah, I think it was somewhere in New Jersey right over the bridge, right? This little like town that belonged, all police officers lived there. And it was corrupt.
Yeah.
And they picked this deaf, fat sheriff to be the police officer of the town, and the people just laughed at him because he wasn't a real cop. I like it. I know you don't like that movie. I think Stallone's very actually underrated. I know people just know like Rocky and things, but mm-hmm. I think he's actually highly underrated.
Yeah, I need to give it a watch because I remember I watched it back when we talked about it, and yeah, it didn't hit me as much as I thought it would. There are some issues with it, but I have to rewatch it again. It's been a while. But after watching Tulsa King, I got to say it's probably one of the best things he's done in a while. And I think for sure, I mean, better than what Arnold's been doing the last, 10, 15 years. I don't know when the last really good thing Arnold did, but it's kind of like they're out there at kind of their end of the road almost in a way in their career. So I think I'm surprised that he's doing a show, but not also surprised. But it's like, it's cool that he's doing it, and it's pretty decent for it being like a Paramount Plus and MTV collab.
Yeah, no,
or like production.
I think most of these guys should do TV. Like a lot of guys, they should just, there's some actors that never will. Like you'll never see Jack Nicholson go to TV, and you'll never see Leonardo DiCaprio do TV. These guys that were bigger action stars, they're much older in their lives. Like 70. I think like Stallone's 70 something, right? So, I mean...
Yeah, he's up there.
Pacino did TV. Pacino did miniseries, though, and TV movies, or HBO movies. And he was good. But I don't think you'll ever see De Niro do a TV show. I think surprisingly, he does a lot of garbage films, but, But, yeah, no, I want to see Tulsa King. I heard good things about it. It looks interestingly enough, but I don't know what's stopping. Like, I should just watch it, but I probably will. I don't want to get into something brand new, and then have to watch the whole series. And I was like, but I actually just started watching Chucky. It has 3 seasons, but they're only 8 episodes each season. So I'm on season 1, and I like it a lot. I think it's actually a really good show. And people were telling me to watch it back in the day, but I didn't watch it. So I get to watch it and live react to it on my YouTube channel. So that's good. But anyway, that's enough of us getting to chit chat. Let's talk about the episode, why everyone's here. We're talking about season 3, episode 10, titled. It was released. Let me see the title. Season 3, episode 10, titled "MOURNIN Mess." It aired July 31st, 1991, and it was directed by somebody who is kind of popular or famous still, as a writer, really, and an executive producer, Manny Coto. Now, I know that name right
Yes.
away. As soon as I saw his name, I said, "Oh, they got a good writer." Because I was a huge 24 fan when I was a teenager. Season 5 was the season that really got me in, and then I bought every single DVD. I binge watched those DVDs. I still have those DVDs. Um, Absolutely love that series. And now I rewatched it with Alan one day. I think it was season 5, right? We rewatched like an episode or something, and I was like, "This is so stupid." Oh, no, we were watching it at the same time and texting each other. Like, what episode you on? I forgot what. I think it was the episode where he has to land the plane on the street and the highway of Los Angeles or whatever. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
"This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life." By the way, that I just discovered yesterday that 24 was not the first time that concept was made or talked about being made. There was a show back called Hourglass. Well, I think it was a show, or it was supposed to be a show. Yeah, there was a spec script, which was the idea for the script was Hourglass, but it'd be individual episodes where the hero would be stuck in a situation where he had to escape out of within 1 hour. So every episode would be a different setting. So that was harder to do in that aspect because you only have he has to get out of the situation within the hour of the episode. So the 1 hour in his life of this thing he'd have to get out of, and they actually ended up turning that into a little show called MacGyver. So I was like, oh, that's really interesting. So yeah, so Manny Coto is known for 24, and then he went on to do Dexter. I believe he did a few episodes which were good. He wrote a few episodes of American Horror Story after they had like a null season. I remember. I think not Freak Show, Cult. That season was like one of the worst ones. It dealt all about the election and the 2016
Right. Oh
election,
yeah.
and then the season after, I think he came on board, and that was a better. He wrote one episode, I think, but he came on board there. But he's a good writer. I'd say he's a very good writer. Even after this episode, I'll still say he's a good writer, and I'll explain why later. Because I started noticing things later on. I go, oh, it kind of makes sense as a writer what he did here. Because I'm like, eh. But yeah, so the episode is written by Manny Coto, directed by Manny Coto. It stars Steven Weber from Wings, Rita Hanks, who's Tom Hanks' wife, Rita Wilson, and a little guy named Vincent Schiavelli. And you might know him from in Ghost.
Get off my train!
Where he's the ghost that teaches Sam how to touch things. My dad loved him, and the way he looked too. He was awesome. I know he's done a lot of things. I believe he passed away, but he was great. That's why I know him from the most is Ghost. Every time I see him, I go, oh, the guy from Ghost, the subway ghost. Yeah. So why don't you tell us what this episode, Morning Mess, is all about?
Yeah, kind of a synopsis because like it's hard to get into too much without spoiling it. But it's like you said, stars Steven Weber. He plays like a broke alcoholic kind of reporter for this publication. I think it's a newspaper called the Evening Globe. His name's Dale Sweeney. He's kind of assigned to cover this ceremony funded by this long ass name for this organization here, Grateful Homeless Outcasts and Unwanted Slayaway Society. So it's a kind of a group of kind of philanthropists that they get brought together to kind of put money towards like this cemetery, I guess, to bury homeless people that for families that they don't have families or people close to them that can like give them a proper resting place when they go. So that's kind of like the synopsis of this episode. It kind of delves in deeper into like this group of philanthropists is kind of deeper intentions and tales from the crypt fashion.
Yeah.
Some kind of bigger conspiracy alludes.
Well, he gets kind of embroiled in a mystery type situation, and he has this, and it involves this organization that buries homeless people, and then he has to solve, or in order to get himself out of whatever situation he's already in, he has to try to solve what's the secret behind this society that's doing good by burying homeless people. Yeah, so let's just cut to the chase. Well, I don't.
Alright.
I will say I do not hate this episode. I think it was
Mhm.
competently directed. I don't think it was as interesting as it was okay. I would say it was just okay. I thought it was an okay episode. I liked it. I just don't think it was. It was something was missing, and I don't know what it was. To be honest, I can't tell you what's missing that would make this like. Because the ending is great. I will say the ending is like a good twist ending that you wouldn't get, and it should be a better episode. And I don't know what it is. I think maybe just the material isn't that strong. I will say maybe that's it. I did read the comic, and I think there are differences barely. There's mostly all these episodes mostly stay true to the comic. Although I will say the issue of the comic book that this was in was the same issue as Only Sin Deep. And I did not read Only Sin Deep, and we did not used to talk about the comics when we first started this. We would just talk about the episodes. But I looked at the panels. I didn't read the comic. I looked at the panels of Only Sin Deep, and that looks amazing. That looks much better the way they did that one in the comic than they did the episode. Because in the episode, she gets a mold of her face, and then it's like a statue. And then she takes the statue and it gets knocked down. Now she has nothing to remember what she used to look like, although she could take a newspaper. I used to be this woman, because her face is plastered all over the newspapers saying she's a killer. In the comic book, her boyfriend like grabs her face or something, and the face peels off. Her face peels off her face. I thought that was fucking pretty creepy, at least in the panel. So, and then there was another comic that looked really more interesting than this one. I guess this one was really the idea of the twist ending. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think about this episode in general before we, I guess, maybe talk about things in the episode that we do like?
Oh yeah, we'll get to it. It's just kind of our initial reaction, what we thought of it so far. Yeah, I thought it was decent. I mean, it's definitely better than what we got the last episode we reviewed. I didn't have too much there that kind of got me interested to watch it again. This one, at least, the story of the comic is still there. It just kind of add a little bit more build up to the ending, and a little bit more focus on the reporter, because the comic didn't really delve too much in his past or what kind of a person they are. It's just kind of them slowly uncovering the truth behind this whole organization that's funding this big piece of land that they got, and are putting together a cemetery. That's the story aspect of that comic. But I thought it was decent, and it did better in adapting it than other episodes we reviewed that didn't really do that great of a job with it. Although the story is pretty straightforward. At least they kind of did a little bit more there to kind of keep your interest if you hadn't read the comic, and kind of build up to that ending.
Let's talk about the episode. I think I'm trying to figure out why it didn't work for me, that I wouldn't like this, because it's the twist endings that I always love, like The Secret. I love that ending. Or and I think I realized this because he's not that much of a piece of trash to deserve what happened to him. You know what I mean? Like, they try to make him like one, and he's not. But the comics are not always like. Sometimes they should just made him a good guy instead of, and something bad happens to him just because, instead of making him a mediocre bad guy. So anyway, Steven Weber plays Dale Sweeney. He's a reporter for, like Alan said, for whatever newspaper outlet. And when we first enter this episode, we're in the streets of whatever city we're in. And there's two homeless people talking, and one's very sick, coughing up blood. The other guy says, who's the guy from Ghost, he says, his name is Robert something. He said, listen, man, I'm going to take you to the hospital. The guy says, no, don't, like, he's scared. He doesn't want to go to the hospital. He's fine. He's whatever. So he goes, oh, let me go get you something, I guess, some like medicine or like coffee or some shit, right? So he walks away, and the guy starts screaming. See, this is a problem too, because they don't, like, the comic and the way the episode, like, this scene doesn't really make sense, I guess, but I digress. So he hears screaming. He runs back. His friend's dead. He gets blood. He grabs, like, where his friend's body was. He touches a piece of paper, so everybody thinks he's the killer. Cut next day, and Steven Weber's character, Dale, is woke up drunk or hungover, and there's a girl in his apartment, and he kicks her out. He rushes to work to this cemetery where this organization, the Homeless Hobos Society of bullshit. And this their grand opening that these rich people that all used to be homeless themselves, they came up out of being homeless and made themselves wealthy and successful, and now they want to give back to the community by giving plots to homeless people that die. Dale asked the question after the spokesperson, Rita Wilson, tells what they're planning to do. And he's like, well, why don't you help them while they're alive? Like, why are you helping them when they're dead? Like, if you have all this money and you used to be homeless and you care about the homeless people, well, why not help them while they're living? Why give them someplace to go where they're dead? And I forgot the excuse she said. It was a novel little excuse. But yeah, from then on, he goes back to his job. And this is where I thought the writing was good in a sense, because later on it works out. His boss is a bitch. I thought his boss was the same girl he woke up with in bed. I thought that was her, but it isn't. It's a different girl totally. So it would have been better if it was her and she was like pissed at him or something, and fired him because of that. No. So she fires him for waking up late but still getting to the fucking thing and being able to report on it. So she fires him and he's like, are you serious? Yeah, I'm giving your article to this other guy. So he was like, you can't be serious. My alarm didn't go off. He goes, so she knows he's an alcoholic. She says, well, why don't you piss into this alcohol, whatever. So she calls him alcoholic, says she should have got rid of him a long time ago. So now he's like, ugh. So he goes home and he's basically dead broke. And the bum is there in his house. And the bum tells him, the guy goes, I have nothing to steal. Dale's like, I got nothing, man. I got nothing. He's like, I don't want to steal you shit. Your apartment makes the streets look like the White House. I think that's what he said, right? Or the plaza, something. And he goes, I want you to write a story. I didn't kill him. I didn't kill my friend, right? It doesn't make any sense. His friend dying in the beginning too. We'll get to that. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So
it was more set up to like the ending. So yeah, we'll get to it.
We're gonna get to it right away. I think this. I don't think we're gonna be sitting at an hour over this one because this one's a basic, easy story, and I don't want to go through every scene by scene. But
all right,
yeah. So he tells him, go back to the cemetery, wait all day, and you'll see. And then I'll give you names and people involved in this conspiracy.
The bum advises him to go to the cemetery to check it out. And then he'll find out a little bit more what he's talking about. So, but he got all distracted and got all flirty with Rita Wilson's character. One thing leads to another, and they end up going back to his place to talk about what he's writing about. But he kind of just led her astray, and they were both like eating some food, and he acknowledged that she wasn't eating much. She said she was like vegetarian or something.
Oh, it's not necessarily. She goes, oh, no, you're not a vegetarian, right? Well, he couldn't go out to eat with her because she goes, when you said you wanted me to go out, I thought we were going to go somewhere. And then he's like, well, I forgot what excuse he gave, but it was because he's broke. He can't afford to take her anywhere. So he went home to eat. What a shithole. And she still banged him. By the way, this is true. Okay, guys and girls for sex will do anything. I went to a girl's house once. The only time I backed away. Her house was disgusting. The dirtiest, nastiest place I've ever seen in my life. And then all of a sudden, we go to her room, and I still was going for it. I was going for it. And then when we went to her bedroom, she pulled the sheets out, and her cat, not dog, took a shit on her bed. And I was like, and then she goes, oh, sorry. And she just took the sheets and threw it to the side. And I said, I gotta go. I was like, I gotta go. I'm not having sex on a bed with feces was on it already, It's not gonna happen. But I know some other people, like I got boys that are fucking filthy. Like I'm like, what? Why? Why do you live like this? Like, I'm not the cleanest person in the world, but if ever you come to my house, you're not gonna see a stack of clothes and things scattered all over the place. Just my desk in my office. It's like that. But yeah, so they flirt a little more, and then he starts banging her. and then he's trying to record her to find out about this organization. See, the thing is too, this organization is not doing anything nefarious or looking like. Why would you like what? Just because the bum told you to look into this? Like, this makes no sense. Like, I just like, that's another problem with the story. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, that's true. I think it was just kind of they're all tied together to kind of equal out to what we get in the end. I guess, like I said, I guess this was just extra padding to the story from the comic that, yeah, could have used a little bit more. So I guess that's the way to do it.
I think the
It
comic,
wasn't the best way to do it, but that's how I interpret it.
I thought the comic did an actual decent job telling the story in 6 pages. I think it was more than enough.
Yeah,
Although
that's
there are times where other comics, they tried to, like other issues that we talked about, to try to tell the story in the 6 pages, and then sometimes it gets to the end and they're rushing it, so it's a lot smaller and they're getting to the end real quick. This, I forgot which one was like that. I think the Isol Kill You was like that, where it kind of like rushed at the end. Not necessarily because he knew the girl, so not that one. It was one of the ones we read before. So yeah, so she catches him recording and she gets pissed at him, and then she goes, I'm the type of woman you could spend the rest of your life with. And he's like, oh, I was lying to you. Like, no shit, Sherlock. And then I don't think he's charismatic either. I guess he's more of a comedic actor. I know. I used to watch Wings. I mean, I used to watch it. It used to come on late at night on the USA Network, I believe, every night at maybe at 10, right before either Quantum Leap came out at 11 or Wings came on. Is either before or after Quantum Leap, because I would love Quantum Leap. So I'd watch reruns of Quantum Leap on USA Network, and Wings was like, back before Law and Order SVU was on all day long on USA Network, it felt like Wings was on all day long on the USA Network, because it was like one of the only things they ever played. And he was in there, and he's him and Christopher Moltisante's writing partner for what is it, Cleaver. The guy that he beats the living shit out of because he owes him money. He's like he started using again. Why are you using? You beat this shit. He's like, what are you talking about? You ruined my life because I owe you this money. But yeah, so Rita Wilson finds out. She destroys the tape, and then she's like, he said, I'm only doing my job. And he goes, she says, you don't want to see me do mine. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then and then after that, I forgot where he goes after that. He goes to
meet up with that guy, the Robert, right? The one that's been being accused of killing his friend, and he finds him like he's like wounded and like gasping for breath, from what I remember. And then he tells him like he didn't find anything at the cemetery, and then he told him that he didn't stay there long enough, so he was too busy banging Rita Wilson to see what was going on over there. And pretty much he dies before naming who did this to him or any information really. He's a terrible reporter, so as we already kind of established with him, and is inevitably fired from his job too after that, just being unreliable and just drinking pretty much.
I think it was before he got fired when he went back to his job to try to get his job back, to say he has a story after the bum died, even though he didn't have a story. He fell asleep on the street, and after the bum died drunk, and then he went to his job the next day and soaking the floor, and he's like, get out of here, like, you don't have a job. I gave your job to the other guy. Call the police to get him out of here. So he was like, he just like walks out like a homeless person, because in essence this is what's going to happen to him. So he goes home to his house after he got fired again, or told like, no, you're not getting your job back. And he sees the sign on his door says evicted, like you're thrown out. So he's homeless now. He's literally homeless. So that's what I liked about the changes Manny Cotto did to this story, is it gave him like a somewhat of an arc, a mediocre arc, because we see he's alcoholic. Okay, a lot of alcoholics in this season of Tales from the Crypt, and we see at this point what happens later makes sense, and no one's gonna miss him. So that's what I'm trying to say there.
Yes.
So he's basically homeless, and then he goes to the cemetery to take the bum's advice to see, and now tell us what happens from here.
Yeah, he was like outside on the waiting for something to happen out there, and he's just smoking a cigarette, and then he sees one of the coffins starts like shaking and starts going underneath the soil, like starts sinking into the soil.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to go check it out, and then there's like this. It was digging through it, and it's just this door in underneath the 6 feet of dirt that he just crashes into, and it just leads into this like underground tunnel, a dark tunnel. It looked like something that's been set up there for a while. It's got some torchlights and everything, and you hear some noises start coming through, and then he just starts. And then he hides in a casket, right? And then they find out that it's like the bum that advised him about all this is in there. He had his eyes cut out and everything.
And they start pulling him to this room where he wakes up. He's screaming. He's in the middle of a table, and there's all these chairs around the table, and he's just like bugged the fuck out. And it's a dinner table. All of a sudden, you see a guy is sitting across, and he looks like Michael Ironside. I thought it was Michael Ironside for a second. I was like, is that Michael Ironside? And he goes, thank you for joining us, Mr. Sweeney. And he goes, who are you people? And he says, until recently, we were known as the infamous homeless killers, right? Because so they were the ones killing all these homeless people to bury them into the cemetery, supposedly. And see, but that's just why would you kill them? They're just gonna die on their own anyway. I guess you want, and then why would you want homeless people? They don't get into the mythology more of it, and they go, well, this is why, because we are all, but now we are known as, and they say what is it called? The Grateful Homeless Outcast. Wait, Grateful Homeless Outcasts Unwanted Layaway Society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long
Grateful
ass,
Homeless
long ass
Outcasts
freaking,
and
name.
Unwanted. Yeah. Grateful Homeless Outcasts and Unwanted Homeless Society. And it says ghouls. And he goes, ghouls! And he goes, yes. And then he takes off his face, and he's not a vampire, a ghoul, which I guess ghouls were before zombies. They were called ghouls. So it's like a mix between zombies and vampires, but it doesn't make sense because zombies are dead, vampires are dead. So this is just their own class of things. And it's funny because I like the way they looked, the design of them. They kind of look like vampires, though. They're bald and they have pointy ears. You know, they look like Nosferatu, but their lips are interesting. And so he goes to, he tries to escape, and the guy who took his job is there. He's a ghoul, too. So that was funny that he was there. And then he rips off his ear. He says, I don't want to eat. I'm not that hungry. I just want a little nibble or whatever. And he rips out his ear, and he starts screaming like crazy, Sweeney. See, this was a good like reveal. It's just that I was not invested in this guy's story or character or anything like that, to be quite honest. And then as he's bleeding, Rita Wilson walks in, and I think she looked the coolest out of all the ghouls because she took the mask off, and she was also bald. I think if there was a way to make ghouls a new thing, right? Like a new kind of creature, I bet you Supernatural's done it. I gotta watch Supernatural. I missed a few songs, but I think she looked the coolest in the costume, and with the lips, looks like like dried and gross, and the teeth is pretty good. I like the special effects on the design of them. But anyway, so she kills them. So that's what this whole story is about. The story is about this society of rich people that they are actually. It's kind of like the reluctant vampire too, in the same way. Like he couldn't kill people, so instead he'd go and he became a vigilante and killed bad people because he could get away with it because he was bullied, right? So he kills all the bad people, and then he drinks their blood. Then he's trying to restock the blood in the place. This one, they kill homeless people instead of killing regular people, and that's what they eat. They don't drink the blood; they eat these people. So, like,
I guess it's all a full circle. I guess their intention is, kill homeless people and then take their bodies to,
and then
I guess,
eat it later.
eat the remaining scraps of
that
them, and
was
then
what doesn't
also
make
get
sense.
money by housing these homeless bodies, I guess.
I guess they
That's what I
get
took
some
away
tax
from it in
break.
some
Yeah,
way.
they get some tax break from the city, but why would you attack them and kill them before? You know, like, because why would you eat? Why would you wait until? Because they're not going to bury you right the next day. Maybe they. I mean, I don't know. And they have to and if they do, anyway, I'm thinking too much into it. It's a comic book, and
Yeah.
a TV show. They're not gonna. Obviously, they probably say they pay for embalming, and they probably take a lot of the cost from the city. That's what I would assume. That's what they should have got into more of that stuff. You know, to make us like this
Yeah,
guy.
I guess to
some
make it
way.
seem a bit, make more sense.
That's what it is. He's unlikable. He's not likable at all. Like there are other characters that are unlikable, like the Trap, right? Was it the Trap or the one with Bruce McGill, and Michael J. Fox directed, where he's an asshole, he's a piece of shit, but he's funny and he's likable, being a piece of shit. Like he's funny, you know, like the way he acts, the actor himself, he was likable. The way he interacts with people when he's trying to hide is funny. This guy's not, and he was in a comedy show and he's interacting with people just straightforward, bland. That's the problem. That's just bland. It was just bland. I think that's the biggest
At first,
problem.
I thought it was more just how the character is, but I think if Lee Ehrenberg played that same character, I think he would have added his own spin to it. That I guess we would have been a little bit more invested. So I think you make a good point on that. It's just that's part of it. That's one of the bigger issues of it.
You know, it's funny.
Other than that, it's the payoff at the end is kind of like the highlight of the episode.
You know what is a good example? Television terror. Because remember, I said everyone hates him. He wasn't even that bad, right? The guy, Morton Downey Jr., whatever character he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
Mort Downey Jr., I don't know what he's playing, what his character's name was. I forgot. It was close to Mort. But whatever. He was... you know, he wanted to get the strippers and all these other shows. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, he was funny, and he was charismatic. This is like, I don't know. Like, you could hate them and like them at the same time. We've come a long way from episodes. Like, season 2 is probably the pinnacle, the best season, I think. It's so far, it's like fantastic. Season 3, I'm just saying, we've come a long way from me disliking the Andrew McCarthy episode, because there's so many shits, so many down, like not great episodes this season. This one is not bad. This one's just not good. It's just not great. It's just mediocre. I like the ending. It should have been better. There was something missing. But again, the comic that is based off of is better in a sense where he's an actual reporter. See, that's the difference. They made him a piece of garbage, and I get why they did it. At the end of the day, I do understand why they made him a piece of garbage, because he becomes homeless, and that he won't be missed. You know what I mean? In this one, in the comic, he's an actual reporter, and he's trying to figure out, hey, why the hell are you doing this? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And then they give him a great reason, because it's years go by in the comic.
Yeah, that aspect of the comic was pretty cool compared to the episode, because it at least gives him a decent reason to keep looking into this, because it wasn't that pressing of a subject to him up until he gets told by I think he gets told by somebody that they buried like their 1,000th person there, and then it's like, oh, this land is not big enough to hold that much, and that's kind of what got him back into the fold of investigating this whole thing. And this one, he just kind of finds out or gets into the whole thing just because the circumstance of the homeless guy telling him there's something going on, and also just him getting involved with Rita Wilson's character too.
Yeah, that's another thing that was like, what's just to give Rita Wilson a job, because
yeah, otherwise, I mean, she's a good
not
actress
useless.
in her own right, but yeah, I mean, she didn't really have a whole lot to work with here.
No, they just did it because there's Zemeckis and Tom Hanks are friends, and it's like, give my wife a job, because really she's just so he could have sex with her to prove that he's a male chauvinist. We got that in the first scene, you know. In the first scene when he kicks the girl out, we already got how he treats women. So, you know. But
yeah,
anyway,
at least with that scene, we got nudes, and we didn't see anything from Rita, so
yeah, no.
it wouldn't be. Yeah.
But you're right.
That was unnecessary.
Exactly how you described this episode, comic is. But the comic is, even you said the comic was boring. It is boring, but it's better than the episode in a sense. I understand from a writer's standpoint what Manny Coda was doing. I think he did a decent job. I wouldn't be surprised if this is like one of the first things he actually directed. Oh wait.
It's very early on in his career because you would think a lot of the trends of the show is just you get these people you never heard of to direct something and you don't hear anything from them, or they did very little after this. But he's done a lot of shit.
Oh yeah.
After Tales from the Crypt, he directed that movie Star Kid. I don't know if you remember that movie. But Star Kid, and it's like some alien from out of space drops.
I've seen the poster.
planet,
I've never
just,
seen
like,
it.
He goes into some kind of suit or something. This kid.
Well, I'm talking about writing.
So
he wrote Dr. Giggles. See, I have to watch it. I owned it, and I never really watched it because it came out. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. It was like one of those. This is, I don't know. I gotta watch it because I actually have never watched that entire film, and I swear to God, there's a lot of movies. I owned it too. I had it on VHS. Well, yeah. So I didn't know he wrote Dr. Giggles, but so he wrote Alfred Hitchcock Presents is like the first thing he wrote. Episode of that, and then Tales from the Crypt.
Since then, he's been doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but as a director, he did a short. He did a little TV series episode in 1989. He did a couple things, not good, and then he did this. So he actually had a few things under his belt before he directed this, and that's why I can say the directing isn't bad. The writing isn't terrible because it makes. He's trying to make whatever this comic was, which was a boring comic, but the difference between the comic and the episodes, the likable lead. And Steven Weber is a likable guy. I've seen him in other things. And this episode, his character's not likable. Maybe they were going for that. Like, we said that the guy gets his comeuppance, but he wasn't that much of a piece of shit. He was alcoholic, okay, but he was homeless. That was the idea that they were going for, to make him, he starts out at a certain point and he's just going to become homeless by the end of the episode. Perfect target but they should have said something like that to make it like, oh, he's, because he was drinking, he was living on the streets at the end of the episode. He's basically living on the streets. But I like the way they did it in the comic, because like you said, it was the 1,000th, the 1,000th body. That's why he's like 1,000. They can't even hold 600 people there, the writer thought. So he's like, wait, I got to go check this out. And that's how he discovers it. This one is like, you got, whatever. I don't think it's a terrible episode. I'm surprised I didn't like it more because the twist ending is what I love the most, which all these episodes have, almost, But it all depends on the twist ending too, because the twist ending for Top Billing is good because you weren't expecting that he was being cast for the skull. You know what I mean? That was the funniest part about that.
That part, and they were all like from a sane asylum too. So that part was pretty good reveal, pretty good twist on that one.
Yeah. So I don't hate this episode. I think it's just a boring lead. I think it was just I think the ending was pretty cool. I like the makeup effects. I like the music in the episode too, by the way. I think Manny Coto did a good job adapting and trying. I think he did. I just think he had the wrong actor. So if I'm going to rate this to be fair, right, I would give this, I think this is fair, because I do like the episode. I do like the makeup, and the directing I think was good. And the writing wasn't bad. I think he did a decent job with what he was trying to do. I think it was actually the performance, and yeah, I think that's really the the problem, because like I like the music. I'd give it 3 out of 5 stars. I think that's being a little bit too kind in a sense. I think that's fair. I don't think it's not. I don't hate it. It's not like Undertaking Pallor that I'll fall asleep watching it. I watched this several times, and I did not fall asleep. So Undertaking Pallor, I fell asleep every single time. And it's. I think 3 out of 5 is fair. I'm starting to. I'm trying to remember, because I remember I gave Dead Weight. Is it Dead Weight? The one.
with Whoopi, right?
Yeah,
That episode with
I gave
Whoopi.
that one a bad rating, but I think that's because of the end. Really, though, because it came out of nowhere, the red hair. They made a bigger deal about it. I think that's why I gave it. It was like, what? And she wasn't trying, really. Whoopi wasn't giving it anything. This guy's, he's trying. It's just not, it doesn't work. It should have been somebody else, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, so 3 out of 5. I'll be fair. I think that's fair. 3 out of 5. What about
Yeah,
you?
for me, I'm gonna give it that same rating. I was leaning on 3.5, but I think discussing what you mentioned, the downsides of it is just the main lead, or just how it decided to write him. Could have been better. I think this is one of the better adapted stories, at least, that they've done. I mean, this is a masterpiece compared to Undertaken Paler. So I mean, I think the bar was already set pretty low from the last one we reviewed. So I think for what he did to squeeze it into this half-hour episode, or less than that, with all everything cut out from the beginning and everything, I think he did a decent job. And yeah, I'd say a 3 out of 5 as well. I think just the main actor, or just the writing or motivation for him getting to this point, yeah, it could have been a little bit better, but otherwise it does its job. It's not one of the worst ones. It's just not one I would highly recommend to check out.
By the
if you're
way,
gonna watch this season.
I was gonna ask you, in the comic,
Yeah.
at the end they go, we got the idea to do this from a comic book, and it goes, a comic, and it goes, yes, a horror comic called Tales from the Crypt. It was called Mourning Mess, right? So he goes, it was a bunch of vampires. Is there a comic book? Because this is Tales from the Crypt, right? Is this Tales from the Crypt, the comic, or Vault of? But it's the Witch's Cauldron. This is a segment of the Witch's Cauldron. The comic is Tales from the Crypt. So
They call it they're referencing Midnight Mess.
yeah, Midnight Mess. Is that an actual comic of Tales from the Crypt?
I think it is. I noticed
Really?
that reference when I read it, but I hadn't looked into the actual issue. I have to pull it up and find it for you.
Yeah, you should do that, because that would
That was
be
the only kind of
interesting.
cool thing about that comic, is how they self-referenced another issue that's from this series, Tales from
Yeah.
the Crypt, that the story's based off from.
No.
Yeah, it's somewhere here. It's somewhere in here. I have to look for it.
Yeah, that's good, because if it's an actual comic, by the way, let me say one more thing here. I think this is amazing. Let me show you something. You probably saw it. So right here, you could get free Hitler stamps. 10
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot about
stamps,
that.
all
part I
different,
was sifting
sent
through here.
free. Well, from
Yeah,
New
it's cool.
Hampshire. I don't understand, though. I mean, you know,
10 scare stamps.
I will say, I would say, I don't know if this is going to be canceled or whatever. My grandfather died. We went through his stuff, and he had a bunch of stamps. I never knew he collected them, and there's a bunch of Hitler stamps in there, but like he just had a bunch from every different country. Like, you know what I mean? So like there was Germany, there was Britain. He had all these. I don't know where he got them from. I know he used to work at the church, so maybe somebody passed away that used to collect them, and he just took them, right? So that's what I could think of. And because he used to work at the church he worked with, they had a nunnery, so he worked for them too. So they had all these stamps, and he had, and I'm talking about 1940s, 1930s, stamps with from every country, and one of them was Germany, and it was, well, not one, it's like a page, and he's got a bunch of Hitler stamps. So, but this was like 1950 something. I don't know why they're still selling. Why would they still sell it in 1950s? This comic, I mean, these stamps. It says,
Collector's item for everything.
what does this say here? To secure names for our mailing list, free 10 Hitler stamps.
10 free Hitler
Mail
stamps.
coupon at once. We'll send you this fascinating set of 10 Hitler stamps, different sizes, colors, values, no cost to you. These valuable stamps were issued by the short-lived nation of Bohemian Moravia.
Yeah,
They
it's
are-
so random.
They are much sought after. Now they are becoming scarce. And since the nation is no longer
They're probably
in
worth a lot of money
existence,
now.
no new issue can be minted. Maybe whoever my grandfather got it from, maybe they got it from Tales from the Crypt. Maybe they ordered it and they had like they ordered like $100 worth.
Yeah, it's because we pull up these most of the time because they're not. I don't think they have them all in digital yet. They're literally. I think somebody literally scanned them on a scanner, and yeah, this was one of the advertisements that were a part of this issue.
Yeah.
I sent you the link to that issue. So they referenced issue 35 of Tales from the Crypt. So that's 3 issues ago from this story that they referenced the Midnight Mess.
Send it to me.
Surprising, it was
IG,
very very random reference they put into that comic when I was reading it. Well, it's the issue of Tales from the Crypt from 3 issues ago that the story of this episode is based on. That's the one that they referenced. This is from 3 issues ago. They referenced that comic in the story.
Hold on, let me find it.
Yeah, it's a couple pages down.
Oh, that's awesome. What the fuck? Why would they if they wait. Okay. So if they referenced this comic and this already looks cool, why didn't they adapt this fucking comic? Why did they adapt this episode? I gotta read this now to find out. And you know what's funny? That this Crypt Keeper does look like the Crypt Keeper that in Creep Show Part 2. Remember? Mm-hmm. Hello, kiddies. There's little Johnny now. Oh, the clock in the steeple.
If anything, it got me interested to read that issue. So I'm gonna have to read that later.
And they're vampires. This is interesting. All right. Well, you know what? We're gonna have a review for you on the next podcast before we talk about that episode, which is called Split Second. Which, by the way, spoiler alert. I remember this episode. I highly enjoy it. So I can't wait to watch it again. And see. The next episode after this, I don't remember. The one after that, Deadline. I don't remember that one. There's a lot of alcoholics in this in this season. I don't know if I don't know why that is, but I find that very interesting because so far we've gotten a bunch of, and they actually had the star of the pilot of the first episode this season was an actual alcoholic at this time. Andrew McCarthy was an alcoholic in real life at this time period in his life. So
they got him
to do the first episode. Champagne. Yeah, no, he probably was real champagne, honestly.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for this episode. It's not bad. It's not. I don't even know. Was it rated on IMDb?
People gave it a 7.1. I mean, this is higher rated compared to Undertaking Pallor. That one was a 6.7. Usual Kill You 7.1. Some of these ratings I don't all agree with. Reluctant Vampire got a 7.
I know. This is better.
That part I don't get.
This is better than Reluctant Vampire. I will say that.
It definitely is. Yeah.
I have no issues with this episode and no issues with Steven Weber. I don't think he's a bad actor. I'm not saying he did a bad job. I'm saying it wasn't what was needed. I think there was something missing, and I think the only thing I could say is the problem is probably him. I'm not saying he was I think his acting was fine. What he was supposed to do was fine. I just feel like maybe it was the writing and his character that I don't know, just didn't work for me. That's all I could say. I'm not shitting on him, you know?
No, I agree. I think if it was written like this in the comic, I would have felt the same way.
Yeah. I still think 3 out of 5 is not bad. I'm not giving it a bad rating. I like the ending. I like the fact that it was ghouls and that they were going to eat him. But I didn't care enough about him to care or be like, oh, you know, I don't know. And also way, that's the problem too. Like people don't know ghouls. Back in the day, the 50s, they knew ghouls, you know? Like the only way I know about ghouls is the fact that before zombies, they were called ghouls.
Yeah, like when I first saw this, I thought that might have been vampires, but I mean, there's a slight difference between them and ghouls. I think they're more on the demonic side. The ghouls, demonic entities, I guess.
Yeah, cool. They looked cool.
Yeah, I mean, they look good. Yeah, that was one of the highlights of this one. The makeup was good, and then some of the parts of the directing. I mean, Manny did it the best he could, and I think he, out of all the folks who talked about, at least he's gone on to do bigger and better things since then. Obviously, 24, and he worked on bunch of other stuff too,
Dexter.
and creating a lot of TV shows.
And like I said, which though 20, but then again, people are gonna say, yeah, you just said Dexter's ended like shit, and so did 24. You know, like, hey, I don't know if that he's totally responsible. Actually, you know what? I used to actually talk crap about him. I will say that. I'm surprised I'm defending him, because like normally I used to say, oh, Manny Cotto, because I already knew like he ruined Dexter. He was the executive producer, I think, showrunner of Dexter, and that was bad. How that ended was bad. 24. Look, all I know is you had a great season 5, and at season 6, I just clocked out, so I just couldn't do it anymore.
Well, it was like with anything, you know. It also had that downside of the writer's strike. So they had like that one really bad season, like you mentioned, season 6.
Well, no, I don't even
But
know if that was the writer's strike. I think that was just shit. I mean, look,
that was
all I
part
know
of it
is
too. I mean,
I wanted
that show had its ups and downs, but overall, I mean, that show was a big deal during this time.
all that show needed was to leave California for a year. Okay? If Jack Bauer got taken to China, then we need to see Jack Bauer in China escape and come back to the United States. And the 24 hours should have been him trying to get the fuck out of China to get to the US. They didn't do that. What did they do? They took a break, and then they did the redemption storyline where he's in Africa, right? In a movie to get him. And then they finally, because they finally decided, you know what? Let's take him out and put him in New York. And then I think that they were like, oh, that was successful. Let's put him in Britain, right? Isn't he in Britain one season?
That was the last season. Yeah, it was took place in the UK.
Yeah, and all they had to do,
he ended up coming back.
All they had to do was season 6 was put him in. And first off, they're gonna bring Jack Bauer's father into the storyline. That's a big mistake unless you're getting Donald Sutherland to play Jack Bauer's father, because there's no way anyone's ever going to believe any other actor is
James Cromwell. James Cromwell is Kiefer's dad.
Yeah, listen, James Cromwell is a great actor, fantastic, but we all know Kiefer Sutherland's father is Donald Sutherland. Put them on screen together. But I don't think they actually had a good relationship, to be honest. Like they loved each other, whatever, but I don't think they were actually that close. I think that like he had Kiefer with some woman, his mom, but he wasn't really involved in Kiefer's life until Kiefer got older. So I don't know how true that is. I forgot. I heard something. I think he was interviewed by Michael Rosenbaum on his podcast Inside You. That's what it's called. And he talked about his dad a little bit on there, and Kiefer's actually like a loyal guy, you know, like he actually like has friends from when he was like Jason Patrick and him were friends from like, they got cast on like a fucking, I forgot what movie, not a movie, like a commercial or something, and they became friends, and then they were in Lost Boys together after. I think they met before that, and then they were friends already, and then they both got on Lost Boys. And Michael J. Fox, I remember they asked Kiefer Sutherland, who's the greatest actor you've ever worked with, and he said Michael J. Fox. So Michael J. Fox is like a good friend of his too. And I remember Andy Dick tried to assault him like he does everybody. That's all Andy Dick does. Besides coke and shitty cameos in movies, he sexually assaults every single fucking male actor that he works with. So he tried to, I think Kiefer punched him or something. And then afterwards, he was like, he felt all like depressed, and then Kiefer like opened his door in his limo. I was like, come on, Andy, get in the limo. And then he jumped in his limo, I think. I could be wrong about that. And there's also that video.
I'm not sure. I haven't heard about that, but I know.
I think it's on
I know John Lovett's story with him and that.
Oh yeah, punched him. Yeah. There's the Kiefer Sutherland video of him jumping on a tree. I think he tried to be jackass. Like he says something, hi, and this is when he jumps on a hotel Christmas tree. He was so wasted, and he just knocks the whole thing down.
That's funny.
Yeah, but anyway, talk about Kiefer because of Manny Cotto. But yeah, that's that. Yeah, so let us know if you're on YouTube and Rumble and you're watching us. Let us know in the comment section what you thought about this episode. Did you like it? Am I wrong that it was something missing about it, or it's nothing? It was great. It should have been a 4 or 5 out of 5. I don't know. You let me know. You let us know. I think it was a good episode. I just, something was missing because the ending wasn't as, it wasn't as memorable or as good as it should have been. So there's that. But anyway, if you're listening to us, we will talk to you guys next time when we come back to discuss Split Second, the episode 11 of season 3. You should check us out at ghostcrusadersmerch.com. We have some cool shirts there. And you can follow us on X at Creeps of Crypt, or just search us on Rumble, YouTube, or any podcasting website, Creeps of the Crypt, and you'll find us that way. You want to plug anything?
No, I mean nothing really specific. But you can follow me on X. I'm under Splinter47, and we got some merch up in the store, so you guys want to check out. I got to recently buy that. Welcome to the the Ritter House shirt.
Yes,
that one's a good one.
That was a nice one. I got to think of a new design of a new shirt. I think I have one, but I haven't got to that episode yet because I'm watching.
I was gonna ask if we had something planned for a shirt for this season. It's a bit of a challenge because
I
some of
know
these episodes are hit and miss.
I don't know. To be honest,
I'd go with the top billing shirt.
Yeah, what would that? I mean, I got to think. I don't think so. I don't know.
There's a way we can get John Levis's disembodied face in the trash.
No,
on a shirt.
It'd have to be. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm looking at the episodes right now.
Or it could be his skull on somebody holding his skull like a rendition of Shakespeare. You know, it could be something like that.
Actually, maybe the next episode. I gotta look. I gotta think. I think the next episode, I could come up with one for the next episode. I haven't watched it yet. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, we will talk to you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.